Daredevil suits. Good suits, bad suits, whatever this one is gonna be. Let's talk about Daredevil suits today. Specifically, let's talk about live action Daredevil suits. Just for today, we'll revisit the comic ones another time. Also, specifically 21st century Daredevil suits. I know that's very specific, but before the 21st century, live action wise, we only really had two suits. And I don't really know what to say about that. And as for the other one, we're talking about two suits today that look pretty similar, so I think we can skip those. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Ben Affleck's Daredevil suit from the movie. I like it. That doesn't mean that, it's a great suit. That doesn't mean it's the perfect suit. It just means that I really like that movie, and by extension, I really like this suit. And it does one thing that's like amazing. I didn't even know it was possible, but it actually, like, to a degree anyway, it looks like a comic book Daredevil suit. It's like it actually looks like they tried their best to like translate a Daredevil suit into live action, which is more than I can say about many of the others that came after, but one thing at a time. And it does this weird thing with the Daredevil symbol, which is the same thing that the Fantastic Four movie did, that also came out at a similar time, where, because like in the comics, those symbols are front and center of the suit, but then those two movies, both produced by Fox, which is a big coincidence, but they both decided to just push that symbol a little bit to the side. Like if I had a nickel, right? I'd have two nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Anyway, like I said, I really like this suit. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking though. So I'm going to put it at B tier. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair placement. I know many people would rather put it way lower. I'm just not one of those people. So I really enjoyed this suit and I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's pretty good. Moving on, we're on to Charlie Cox, and boy, he had many suits. So first off, we've got the black mask suit. It's like the one he wore in season 1. Everybody loves it. It's great. I agree. I'm going to put it at S tier. I think that it works perfectly with what the show was doing for season 1, and it makes sense, right? It's like a makeshift suit. Matt, at the time, he did not have any way to get a proper superhero suit, and that wasn't what he was about anyway, so it makes sense. I think it works very well. This suit, if you don't know, is based on the Frank Miller design from The Man Without Fear, which in itself was based on the design from the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, because it actually came out before it. I can only assume they had like $3 to make that movie, and most of it went to body paint. But it's cool looking. It's a great makeshift Daredevil suit. I think it works great. It works great in The Man Without Fear. It works great in the show. So no notes, pretty good. Which is very sad, because when we get to the end of season 1 of Daredevil, we get what I would call probably the worst version of the Daredevil suit that has ever existed, which is that monstrosity that he wore for that last bit in the last episode, and also a little bit in season 2. I don't know what that suit was trying to do. I don't know what they were thinking. It's horrible. It's awful. I hate it with a passion. It's like, it's the only thing that you can connect it to Daredevil is the horns, but even then, they're barely visible depending on the angle. It doesn't look red. There's one picture of it from season 2. You can see that thing is not even red. I don't know. Like, at that point, just stick to the black suit. It's like when you're I don't know. Then in season 2, in episode 4, we got a little bit of an upgrade. I wouldn't call it, a massive upgrade, but I think the cowl works a lot better in this version. I think the red pops a little bit more. It's like very, very subtle how much it pops. But, it's something. It's something. I will put it at C tier. I don't... maybe B. I do have like a lot of fun memories of that suit with Daredevil season 2 and with the Defenders. The Defenders isn't a great show, of course, but I do enjoy it. I like watching the characters interact. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna say B tier. That's my final decision. Then season 3, we got Well, I have a lot of conflicting thoughts about the black suit from season 3. On the one hand, it looks cool. I think it's nice that it's like sort of an homage to both Matt's father and his mother, even if you didn't know that at the time. I think thematically it's cool. It looks good. There's one thing about it that bugs me, and it's not even the suit itself. There's just a line of dialogue in season 3 that pisses me off as a Daredevil fan in the show, in the comics, in any capacity, which is after Dex wore the Daredevil suit, the red Daredevil suit at the New York Bulletin and killed all of those people. Matt goes to confront Melvin about it. Melvin made his suit. And, Melvin offers to make him another one. And Matt says that he outgrew what it stood for, which, what does that even mean? Like, I get it, right? I think the story reason why it exists works. It's fine. I don't know. That line of dialogue always rubbed me the wrong way because the Netflix era of those shows, and you can notice that with pretty much all of those shows, with Daredevil, with Iron Fist, with Luke Cage, with Jessica Jones, like they're all a little bit ashamed that they're based on comic books. And you know this because whenever they get an opportunity to pay homage to like a classic suit, instead of, just paying homage to it and moving on, the character needs to stop and point out how ridiculous they look. Luke Cage did it, Hellcat did it, Daredevil was mocked for how he looked all the time. I think the one exception is Iron Fist because, it wasn't meant to be like a superhero suit. It was something that he wore in Kunlun. It was part of the ritual to become the Iron Fist. And the one that I do excuse is Jessica Jones. When Jessica Jones, like, she was making fun of the jewel costume. Because reality is she never really wore that. Like, outside of flashbacks in the Alias comics, she never really wore it. And it makes sense that she wouldn't wear it here. I think, that first one, I can excuse that. But when Luke Cage did it, when Hellcat did it, the way that they kept doing it with Daredevil, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. So to then get to Daredevil season 3 and hear that line after, these suits have been mocked for many seasons at this point, it I don't know. It just, I didn't really like it. And as a result, it sort of tainted how I see this suit. So I'm going to put it at A tier because it's still really good. It still looks great. It still makes sense within the story. I'm not sure I like what it was kind of saying in a way, again, in the context surrounding classic superhero costumes in those shows. Then, after years and years of waiting, we finally get Daredevil back in Spider-Man first, but then we get him back in She-Hulk, and that's when we actually see him as Daredevil. And he has the yellow suit. Man, I'm someone, I love the yellow Daredevil suit. I really do. I'm probably very biased because Daredevil Yellow is one of my absolute favorite comics. But I really do like it, and by extension, I really do like this version of it. I have I have issues with it. I don't think, and that is gonna sound crazy because I know how people are about Daredevil, but I don't think the colors are bright enough. If the yellow was a little bit brighter, if the red was a little bit, stronger, I think it could have been a great suit. It would have been like one of the best suits. There's one vital thing missing, and I'll get to that, but I do really like this suit. I do really like his appearance in She-Hulk. I wish we got more of that. I wish we got more of that time, like in between season 3 of Daredevil and season 1 of Born Again, just so we could see what Matt was up to. We could see him wearing the yellow costume. I think that would have been cool. Never happened. It's fine. Anyway, A tier. Then there's the suit from Echo, which is just the same from the one in season 2 and the Defenders, in my opinion. Like, there are a couple of differences. You can see them when you put the two suits side by side, but nothing really crazy, nothing that, like, make me put this suit in a different tier other than the same one, because they're pretty much the same. This one, I think, it has a little bit brighter red. That's it. And even then, it depends on the lighting. And finally, we've reached the Daredevil Born Again era. And with it, the first suit to genuinely piss me off since that first quote-unquote red suit, which is this new red suit. Don't get me wrong, it looks way better than that first suit we got, but the reason why it pissed me off is because it's missing something. At this point, in universe, Matt Murdock had been Daredevil for like what, 10 years, a little bit more. And it's absolutely ridiculous that he still did not have the Daredevil symbol. Like, for season 1, I can understand that first version of the suit, he didn't really have the name yet. Brett gave him the name. But for me, like, the second red suit, the one Melvin made in season 2 and onwards, there's absolutely no excuse for the Daredevil symbol to not be there. It's an absolute disgrace. It's how did we reach the point where a character has to earn the main feature of his costume? Anyway, for that reason, Born Again season 1 suit goes in the B tier as well. Noticing an awful lot of mid in this tier list, but it's just the world we live in. And that's okay, because that's about to change. Finally, we've got a suit that goes back to the S tier. Oh my god, it only took us 11 years. It's insane that Charlie Cox took this long to earn a very important part of his character's costume. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it was worth the wait because it looks great. I wish we got to see the reason why it exists, because it's like I said on my review video, like, it's cool that the Daredevil symbol became a symbol of resistance, but I wish we got to know how. And I think it could have the same effect if he already had the symbol, right? I think it's ridiculous that it took him 10 years to get the symbol, and I will complain about it as much as I can. Then we got the same suit. I know that, but I do think that because the black paint is chipping away and you can see more of the red, it earns like another spot in the list, and it also goes up to S tier. I think it looks so good. When it comes to the best that he looked, actually looking like Daredevil, it's Born Again season 2. Which then finally brings us to Born Again season 3. So to be fair, we have not seen much of this suit yet. And like I said on another video, I think that once we're actually watching the show with the proper lighting that this suit is meant to be looked at, I think it's gonna be great. I think what they're trying to go for is sort of, like that one Alex Maleev art where you can see the outline, like the red outline and the eyes and the symbol. I think that's what they're going for, and I think once we have that in the lighting of the show, I think it's gonna be sick as hell. With that being said, I don't think that's an excuse to have Daredevil out there looking like a gaming chair. I think I understand the idea of trying to go for like a cel-shaded look if that's what they're trying to do, because I'm not entirely certain, but you can do that. You can do that if the suit looks normal, in normal lighting. It's possible. I know it's hard to believe, but you can do that. It's all about manipulating the lighting and using the right kind of fabric. And the fabric that they use for the Daredevil suit, for the Charlie Cox Daredevil suits, is probably not good for that. But just change it up, man. I don't know. I don't think it's an excuse to make a bad suit. And I guess that's me deciding that I don't like that suit. Again, I do think it's going to look better in the actual show. As a fan of Daredevil in any capacity, I would just like Daredevil to look like Daredevil, and that means a fully red suit. Or if you don't want to do the red, then a black suit like he was wearing in season 2. I don't know. I just think that this halfway thing that they're trying to do is not working, and it's really frustrating when, once again, it's been 11 years. It's going to be 12 years by the time that this season is out, and Daredevil still has not been allowed to look like Daredevil in the comic books. And I don't understand why that's so difficult. Let's see how that's going to be when the season rolls out. I hope I change my mind. I hope I'm wrong, that, I can look back at this video and be like, oh, I was being so critical of it. I hope that I can do that. But most of all, I hope that they change the suit and it's fully red. Anyway, I'm going to put it as C tier, at least for now. And I'll see how I feel about it in like a year or so once we've actually seen it in action. Anyway, that is a wrap for today. Thank you very much for watching, for tuning in. Give me your rankings for these suits. If you'd like to see more videos from me, here's one that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you join me next week when we talk a little bit about the Hand and the road in the MCU so far. Spoiler, it's kind of confusing. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.